Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Trueslider Gaming. So we are continuing our playthrough of Act 6, I believe. Act 7. Definitely in Act 7. I made the mistake of switching on my OBS and making sure everything works and accidentally clicked Earmere, so let's do the catch-up storyline.
What would you like to know, Exile? Ah, yes. You do seem to have a penchant for presenting yourself when times are at their most perplexing. It would seem that our Almighty has forsaken us. False deities from ages past now rise and ravage, while our blessed innocence remains as silent as the stones at my feet. So much for Templar propaganda, eh? Well, I suppose if we are to fend for ourselves, then I should answer your troubling arrival with our own most pressing tribulation. The relic that washed ashore and started all the chaos. It was covered in ancient vowel inscriptions. The symbols were much weathered, making them challenging to translate. Yet I did my best. The inscriptions spoke of the god Ralakesh. If this object somehow housed the spirit of that many-faced monstrosity, then I fear we are all in danger. Ralakesh was renowned for his penchant for subjugation and control. Please, I urge you to destroy this god before his strength and dominance grow insurmountable. Nip this divine threat in the bud, as it were. Our poor friend, Grust, has likely become Ralakesh's avatar in this world. At least his recent behavior would indicate as much. If you could see to Grust's passing, Ralakesh will be forced to retreat into the relic. Destroy the relic, and perhaps you will also destroy the god.
You got it.
Keep your wits about you.
Okay, so we'll talk to Sin. Oh, and I guess Waylon wants to talk too.
Judging by that rather curious ship and its aberrant captain, I imagine you had rather an interesting voyage here. Now, Inquisitor Maligaro. We must have his soul. He has most certainly returned to his old haunt, yet his manifestations are like wisps on the wind. There one moment, gone the next. While I am familiar with the phantasmal trails and tributaries that filigree this reality, Maligaro's exact whereabouts eludes me. You should speak with these desperates who cling to this broken bridge, that young Templar scholar in particular. Their mundane knowledge must provide where my enlightened sapience cannot.
Okay, so he wants us to figure out how to reach Maligaro, and we'll talk to Helena. I guess it's right there. Oh, wow.
What'll I do now? This here broken bridge speaks to me so. A fair place to rest me old bones for a bit. And tell you what, with all this sunlight and fresh air, I can feel the calling forth of the poetic muse beneath me trousers. Been a long time since I felt this here compass point in any direction. Now, speaking of navigations and the like, a long time ago, I had me a nice collection of riches stuffed away in a lockbox. Being the stupid ass that I am, I buried the thing one eve when I was high in my cups. God for the death of me remember where except I know it was near this broken bridge. The box has a silver locket in it. It holds the portrait of my late wife, Meredith. It's the last thing I have in this world to remember her by. If you happen across my lockbox in your travels, I'd be appreciating of its return.
Alright, so now we're gonna go play Lost and Found.
See ya, chum.
Hunt down other people's garbage. I don't know if we've met Alva before. Introductions.
Thank the gods. You're no saint, I can see that. Though, who am I to question what form divine providence comes in? I am the great Alva Valai, reliquarian extraordinaire. A seeker of mysteries, explorer of the unknown, lover of all things that glitter, and I need your help. The lost temple of Atsuatl. Halls lined with finery, boxes stuffed with glimmering riches, and relics touched by insurmountable power. The eons lost to history, until now. I believe the secret of its location lies in the Val City, which until very recently was submerged and completely unreachable. But with all that's going on, the city has risen from the depths and, well, it's still completely unreachable. It seems the only way to even get close is across the river, and the only crossing is overrun with bandits. I have a plan that could make both of us unbelievably wealthy, but perhaps one day.
No, tell me now. Okay, so she introduced, and I really wish I had my speakers up because I'm gonna brutalize this name every single time. Exile. And so what happens with the Temple of Exile?
I believe the secret
Oh,
of its
we don't even get to see it. And we don't even get to look at it. So what happens is the Temple of Exile is like a pyramid, and it's filled with kind of default rooms and default connecting passages. When you find Alva on the map, she generates maybe like a rift in time to go back and fix a room. So you can either kill a different mob in order to change the aspects of the room, make the dungeon harder, maybe have a loot room. And then once you get through that, you'll get through, I think it's 15 revisions before you're allowed to go into the temple. So your ultimate goal is to make the best temple possible with the most treasure possible, but you also want to boost the boss just a little bit so that when you go and fight him, he drops loot. Most importantly, what I might have said earlier, you need to connect the passages between the rooms, and more often than not there will be no connection to the actual apex of the pyramid. So just make sure that you're watching out for that, and yeah, you'll see it eventually.
You arrive. The Great Spirit spoke in my dreams, told me that darkness would again drown our lands, and you, Exile, would walk before the flood. But what is this? You are not alone. A shade, a memory, older even than... No, older than spirit? Fear grips my throat. I shake, but the spirit drapes a warming cloak upon my shoulders. This ancient ghost that follows you, it has the trust of the spirit. And if the spirit trusts, then I trust.
There's nothing more reassuring than the trust of a half-naked lady with what looks like bear claws covering the goods. Oh god, I forgot to sell. Good old inventory management. Obviously this is a new session. Yes. I don't know. I want to just record videos and videos and videos, but my girlfriend gives me this angry face, so I must appease the angry god known as my girlfriend sometimes. We only have 3 baubles. I would like this sooner than later. Have quality. Have I been picking up quality? It's a jewel. So in order to make a bauble, you need to sell, I think it's either 30% or 40% of flasks in order to get just a pure bauble. And we really want that pure bauble so that we can put this granite flask up to max. And realistically it goes up from 4 seconds to I think 4.6. Oops. Malagaro.
I'm afraid that the Inquisitor's spirit has indeed returned to the Chamber of Sins. Yet while you won't encounter Malagaro by wandering his halls, I do perhaps know how you can find him. Whilst investigating the Fell Shrine, I learned of the existence of a map, forged by Malagaro from his own viscera. This map allowed him to transfer his spirit into another form of existence, an existential safe house to which he could retreat should death ever attempt to take him. Understanding the map's purpose, Vol tried to destroy it, to no avail. So he locked it away deep within the ruins of Frisia Cathedral. Find that map and place it upon the Reverie device in Meligaro's old laboratory. And when you step over that threshold, expect the very worst.
Okay, so that's going to kind of introduce us into map aspects, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyone else? We don't really care what Navali has to say, but maybe we'll spend some coins. Master seeks help. He will find Nico and complete his mission. So there we go, we'll spawn Nico, so we'll get extra sulfite around the map.
A full pocket, severed, spills forth like a struck spring.
So you will slay a foe who erupts into currency, and you might be sitting there thinking, wow, it's like, erupts into currency, that'll be great. Imagine all the alks, or maybe all the chaos that might come forth. Even like fusings might be good. But then, like, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get like a whole bunch of armor shards. I don't know. It's like the, I'm gonna keep saying I don't know until I get my story out. That's still fast heal. It plays very much the same as the divination cards. You'll get a random 3 of any currency, you'll get a random 10 of any currency, and maybe if you get alteration shards, then job mission complete.
San is the land of opportunity, they said.
This is a new tile set.
Pardon me if I don't feel swaddled and taken care of in this.
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes I think I'm not supposed to be cutting corners. Dash. Dash! Always dash. Never stop dashing. Come on, memory. Okay, there's one. Made it. Everything's fine. Ooh, that one was filled with treasure. Back. So, it's kind of important, and I think I might have said it before, but I'll reiterate it. Make sure that your build incorporates a proper movement skill. Whether it's lightning warp, whether it's flame dash, whether it's whirling blades. What is it? Jump slam, ground slam. Just do it. It allows you to escape disasters, it allows you to cross bridges, and will generally speed up your gameplay, especially in situations where you are maybe timed. I think it's it. Sweet, sweet release. We are definitely looking for weapon upgrades. We've had this thing for so long, and it is just not so good.
Full pocket, severed, spills forth like a struck spring.
That's not too bad. We got a fusing and a Val orb out of it. So Val orbs, just because I think this is the first one that we've run into. Let me grab this. Val orbs corrupt an item. So if you see here, all these items are just normal items. In previous Val dungeons, we had something that was corrupt. So corruption has very many changing properties. For example, if you tried to do it onto a unique, it could add... I'm trying to think of what it is now. The implicit modifier. So it could add an implicit to a... I'll just take that. It could add an implicit to the item. It could turn your item fully linked. It could turn the sockets in that item into whites so that you don't have to change the color. Or, I guess, roll chromes to put different socket gems in there. Just be warned that once you corrupt an item, it can no longer be changed. I think without just entirely scouring the item. We will look for the other nodes of sulfite. Instead of running back to town. So, maybe you've seen, and this kind of drives home my point, this Arctic breath, we haven't really bothered to spec into it. It's sitting on a 3-link, but it clears basically everything. So here we go. Here's Wayland's Silver Locket. We can deliver to him later. He's in no rush. He's dead. Come on. First one hit. Good enough. Makes so many noises. It's funny because the I can't remember which cast. Oh, there we go. So he used to go from doing like hip thrusts to like head banging every time he cast something. So I don't know, least conventional caster there could possibly be. Chase this guy up. That looks like something. It's either that or that's a totem, and I've wasted my time. Wasting my time. Center. Must be south. Looks like a boss pack. Sounds like a boss pack. Where? Oh, of course he's in a barrier. And that's why you need multiple bleed charges. So I'm gonna throw these down because even though I can't shoot through the proximity, if he's standing in it, then that's his own problem. Ooh, Valgrace. Valrighteous Fire. Valrighteous Fire used to be, I would call it a hilarious item. Those rules are terrible. In that it used to explode all of your health and leave you with 1 HP. And so people who maybe use RF or something, oh, that guy had elemental thorns. So if you see I was taking damage because I was reflecting damage back to myself, which is going to be something that we need to avoid when we get to the map area. Right now we don't have to worry about it too much. I'm just zigzagging back and forth because the reflection isn't that much. But when you get into skills like I don't know, Lightning Arrow was probably my easiest example of something where you could shoot it, an arrow flies off screen, finds a random elemental reflect mob and kills you. I can't tell you the number of times that I've had friends runs end while we were in a map and we're just kind of sitting there like, what the hell just happened? Only to walk like 15 feet in any direction to figure out what happened. Here, Nico, Nico, Nico. Better not be in this corner. Oh. Maybe I should be a little more trusting of how big this area is. And then if I just follow the path, maybe I'll accidentally walk into it. Nope. A bit close.
Just need a
There it is. Alright, map off. When our sulfite fills up, maybe I'll make it a Nico run episode. But we're in no rush to run into the darkness and die. Oh, water popping. Okay, so we're back to the Crossroads. If you look at the map, where we used to be down here, everything's obviously moved to where our best friend Creighton used to live before we murdered him. Sweet, sweet murder. Okay. Grab the waypoint. And so obviously we have some paths to take. So why don't we go towards the... We'll grab the map first. It normally saves you a little bit of backtracking if you go to the... I don't know what it's called. Map reader? Map creator? Map launcher? That way you can just bounce back right away. We are taking it kind of slow. We're full.
Do I know you?
Come on. That's the one thing that I miss about my hideout and some other maps, is there's always a vendor to sell to, like right next to the waypoint. Spell damage. I mean, it could be passable. Ugh. That is worse than items you can find without level requirement. The innate on this isn't bad, but the rest of the rolls are pretty bad. Lots of currency. And obviously, the one thing that you don't really get to see when you watch, I would call them more professional streamers, is they don't pick everything up. They live and understand in the fact that when you get into the higher acts, you trade, you find items to trade, you get your value through trade. Early on, crafting is kind of pointless, and even until you don't have the right amount of mats to do proper crafting, I would say the longer you stay in the earlier parts of the game, maybe the more that it holds you back from just accumulating a lot of wealth very quickly, if trading is the way you want to play. Obviously, we've been playing solo self-found, so that might not apply.
Me look it! Oh, me darling, me beautiful Meredith. How I miss your shuddering bosoms, your quivering thighs. She had a heart to melt an iceberg, and teats the size of a... Ooh. Well, anyway, I thank you greatly. Please, whatever else be in that lockbox, take your pick from it. This locket be the only treasure I need.
Did we just bootleg porn for this guy? Let's go... I don't know what I want. We'll get a boss salt flask.
If you're thinking about dying, trust old Whalem.
He said don't do it. Okay. So we'll go and we'll buff this up. Poof, 0.8 seconds more. Aren't we just spoiled rotten? And so usually this is why people will constantly ask to buy alterations in trade. And it's because, like, we have 65. It's not like it's a terribly low amount, but it's definitely not what we probably require to get a good roll out of this. So we'll just see. So I guess I can talk about re-rolling while I'm doing it. If we look at this flask, the flasks get 2 modifiers. The first one, which is usually a duration adjustment, and then the second one is either an immunity or a buff. So the buffs are usually movement speed, elemental resists, evasion rate, and armor rating. And then the other side is usually increased effect, reduced duration. I think there's a reduced duration, increased effect, more charges, faster charge recovery rate, recover a charge on crit, recover a charge when crit, that kind of fun stuff. So you'll see here that we rolled an immunity to curses, and so if we use an augment to roll that other stat, it's going to be a duration node. So we got more charge. So I won't waste any more currency figuring this out, but realistically we want either a 40%, we want a 40% duration and a increased armor. Although 23% would be nice too. Realistically, I just want a good armor roll so that I don't roll all 60 of these. This is a really bad armor roll. I think the minimum that you can get is 60, yeah. So we're looking for maybe high 80s, low 90s, 100 would be perfect. Begging choosers, I guess. Why am I doing this? Just make it easier on myself. Maximum charges. See, we got a 91 evasion rating, but that doesn't help us at all. That's okay. Not okay. Evasion rating. Come on. Just give me the physical. We don't even need it right now. Evasion again. Oops. Looks like I probably could have rolled that. Whatever. 76 it is. Recharges 3 charges when you take a critical strike. So obviously we didn't roll this good at all. Yeah, we'll get rid of this. I'm sure we'll be fine on 2 instant potions. Watch me eat my words in a couple chapters. What I'll probably do is remove my Quicksilver. It just, right now, it's just so helpful for progressing through everything that I won't throw it away. I don't know why. Okay. Gems. We'll look at this more in depth later. So obviously you'll see that we collect a lot more of the common ones. No noon, no midnight. They're still fairly common, but you still have to wait for them. Otherwise people would just be running Asteri a million times over for free. Okay. And what's important is we didn't spend so long in town that our town portal disappeared. And we didn't spend so long in town that the people watching this episode disappeared. It's been a while since monsters have been at the entrance to these places. At least from what I can remember. So the one thing I'd have to say with these next coming acts is there is quite a stall in monster health. So this is where you might become a little overconfident in how much damage you do. To me, there always seemed to be like a big jump when it comes to Act 6. Even parts of Act 5, I would think. But then everything else just kind of flounders. This guy again. Go away. Dead? Oh, no, not dead yet. Stop running. Oh. That's okay. We're fine. Nice and fine. There we go. We got a new. I am holding off from... Maybe this is just kind of a testament to how lazy I am. I'm trying not to log out just because login information. I have to edit every single episode every time that happens. So we're in the Fell Shrine. At the end of the Fell Shrine is obviously the tomb. So once we get to the tomb, what we call it. Face huggers. Face huggers have taken over the world. One of the fun things that I usually try to do anytime a new expansion comes out is I try to look for monsters that would be fun to resurrect as a Spectre. Because a large part of finding good Spectres to use are usually revolving around good DPS and aggressive AI. So if you can have okay DPS and aggressive AI, but if you have really high damage and absolute garbage aggressive AI, then it just doesn't work out. But let's call that here. We'll progress in and we'll find the map and all that fun garbage. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.